Alrighty, today we're going to switch back to a visual interface, and we're going to show you how to open a text file, which is pretty helpful because you can, once you know how to open a text file, you can actually use it to store your data or even to store your settings on your program, and I'll show you examples of both later on. But so we're going to create a Windows Forms app, again, C#.NET Framework Windows Forms app. I'm just going to call it file open, call it whatever you want. We'll create our project, and we're going to put a couple of things on our project. First of all, we are going to put a rich text form, and a rich text form just gives us the ability to let the user format the text in it. Not absolutely necessary for this project, but you know, nice extras. So we'll use that to fill up. The second thing we are going to put on here is just a regular old text box. We'll put that here. And we are going to put a button on here. And we're going to just say oops, I always do that. I hit the double click because it feels like that's what you should do to say open file. All right, so there we go. We have a wonderful open file button there. We have a regular text box. We have a rich text box. So what we're going to do next is we are going to write some code to open our file. So what we need to do is we need to, and we could have dragged and dropped an open file dialog object, but instead we're going to do this by instantiating an open file dialog object. And an open file dialog object is just a pre-built the open dialog that you normally see when you go open file on almost any application nowadays. And we're going to call it OFD. So this is just like declaring a variable. The variable type is this type of dialog. And the variable name is OFD. And this is going to be we're creating a new instance of the open file dialog. And we put a little doohickey there that says that we are actually calling a new instance of it, basically. Now, when we open a file dialog, we have to show the dialog, first of all. And we do that by saying whatever we named it OFD in this case, show dialog. So that's going to open our show dialog. And when we are done with it, it's going to return a result. And the result can be cancel, it can be OK. And we want this to happen when the person clicks on the OK button, not on the cancel button. So we're going to say dialog result OK. And so we're saying if the result says OK. So in other words, the person opens it up, they do something with it, and then they hit the OK button. We don't want this to happen if they don't hit the OK button. If they only hit the oops, and I forgot show dialogs function, a method, so we have to call it like that. So we only want this to happen if they click the OK button, not if they hit the X or cancel or whatever like that. And when that happens, the first thing I want to do is I want to take my text box 1 that I created, and I want to change its text. What do I want to change its text to? Well, an open file dialog where someone has actually selected a file has a property called file name. Okay, so I want to set its OFD to file name. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. All right, so we have our wonderful thing here. I'm going to click on Open File. It's going to open the Open File dialog. Where is it going to put me? It's going to put me in Documents. That's fine for now. And file name, I can choose any file name I want because I haven't filtered it, and that's not great. Let's look at R. But I just want to pick a file. Or is there not a file anywhere? I picked the one directory on the whole thing that doesn't have a stinking file in it. All right, let's go back. Up a couple of notches here. Go to desktop. We will go, okay, so I know there's some text files in here. So I'm going to pick a text file. It would have let me pick a picture too, which is a problem that we're going to fix in a minute. I'm going to say okay, open, and you'll see now I have my my path because I told it I wanted to, or my file name, which includes the entire path, I wanted it to show there. So now I click open file, and it just gives me another choice here, and I could pick another one and it'll change it and all that. Okay, but nothing else is happening, and so we need to do more. So what more do we need to do? Well, first of all, let's set it so that it can't select any anything other than text files. Well, we want it to have the ability to look at all files, but we mostly want to filter by text files. So what we're going to do is we're going to say OFD dot filter equals, and this is just a big kind of string. We're going to say txt files, and that's what the text that's going to show up, along with asterisk.txt. All right, and if we want more than one file type, and we do because we want it to also show all files, we use this pipe character, which is above your return enter key, and so that's going to be asterisk.txt. And so this is the kind of the syntax. You got your text, the pipe character, your actual filter. So I want it to filter only by .txt files, and that asterisk means I want to show all txt files. But then I'm going to go ahead and say, if the person wants to, they can also look at all files, and it's asterisk in the parentheses. And then again, I'm going to use the pipe and put the actual filter that it's going to be referring to, which is asterisk.asterisk. And in programming, in computers as a whole, asterisk always means all. All right, so, oh, and I forgot. No, I didn't forget to close my thing. All right, so let's take a look at what happens now. So we're going to go ahead and hit start again. And I'm going to say open file. And now you're going to notice that I have the ability to pick text files or all files because it applied this filter to my open file dialog. So now I've only got the text files there, but if I hit that, now I have the picture too, but I can't open a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and say open. Oops, I got to pick one. I'm going to say open, and I get my nice path there. All right, so far so good. One more thing we got to do. We now want to open our file, right? We've got the file name, but big deal. We actually want to see what's in our file. So we're going to change the rich text box 1 text property. We're going to set it equal to file dot read all text OFD dot file name. All right, so OFD dot file name is the file name property that we just used. So you saw what this was. This was the actual full path to our file name. And we got file read all text. Now you'll notice that file read all text is giving me an error right here. And I did this on purpose so you could see why, see what happens here. And you'll see it gives you some potential fixes for this. Why is that not showing up? Well, one of the potential fixes is using system IO. And it so happens that file is a command that's in the system IO, or the IO sublibrary of the system folder. So if we put that in as using, suddenly all is well with the world. Now, if we didn't want to have that in using, if you'll recall, so we had that. I also could have said system.io.file.readAllText. That would have worked too. But it's cleaner to just go ahead and put using system.io there. All right, so and this only obviously works for text files when we're doing text, but so let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. So we're going to say open file, and we're going to get all of our options here, and I'm going to choose 8th period. I'm going to say open, and you'll see that now it shows me the file that I opened, and it shows me the actual text of the file. All right, and incidentally, you can even edit it. Keep in mind, it's not going to save any changes you make to it right now, but you can edit it, and we're going to, in a later lesson, we're going to learn how to deal with that rich text box. All right, so that is how we open files.